What if technology could actually bring people closer together rather than getting in the way? My guest today is Nasya Kamrat, founder and CEO of Nia, where she's reimagining how we design experiences that feel human, connected, and frictionless. With roots in storytelling, systems, thinking, and hospitality, Nasya's work sits at the intersection of intention and innovation. We'll be talking about how better design builds better communities and how AI can make room for more presence, not less, and what it means to design not just for efficiency, but for belonging. Kalisa, let's roll the opening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you may happen to be. You've tuned in to Talk About Your Community. I'm Todd Nilson, your host with Clocktower Advisors. And on this show, we bring in all sorts of guests with a variety of perspectives on community building, particularly in the online space, that have things to say about how we come together digitally and how we connect as humans. And so my guest today, as I said, Nasya and I have already had a previous conversation about this that you can find up on our YouTube channel in the back catalog, and we're going to be delving into a wonderful topic today around building a sense of belonging in online spaces. So I'm looking forward to having her. If you're here for the first time, please give a shout out in the comments. We like to promote comments on or questions onto the screen during the course of the stream, and so we're very, very glad that you're here and joining us for the live stream. And if you're joining us afterwards and have questions or comments, I try to keep track of all of those as well. So please follow us on the Clocktower Advisors company page, as well as on our YouTube channel for Clocktower, where we have all of our 60 plus episodes that go up there on a regular basis. Also going to be putting out an audio version of the show. Kalisa, who is the amazingly talented engineer that makes everything happen magically behind the stage, is in the process of getting us set up on Anchor, part of Spotify, and we'll be pushing up a lot of the classic episodes that we've had over the past couple of years that have had a great response, as well as probably doing some new content as well, just because I like audio as well. So anyways, thank you for tuning in today. Without further ado, I want to bring on to the stage Nasya Kamrat. Nasya, welcome.
Hi, nice to see you again. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful to see you here too. And shout out to Ricky Passanelli, first time viewer of the show. Thanks for chiming in on the comments. Glad to have you here. Nasya, I know you've been on the show before for an interview, not on one of the live streams before, but I'm so excited you're able to make the time to do this. And I think in the time between that conversation and this one, you were at South by Southwest and doing a launch announcement for the work that you're doing with Nia.
Yeah, it's been it's only been a couple of months and it's been really, really busy, startup life. So since we last spoke, we did launch a Nia XP, which is our enterprise concierge AI at South by Southwest. Then not nearly just a few weeks later, we did our largest deployment to date at C-Trade Cruise Global. And a little bit of a spoiler alert, we're going to be launching our SaaS product, which will allow every SMB to make their own Nias. And we're launching that towards the end of Q3. So been very, very busy, been very exciting. But yeah, it's been a lot. There's a lot going on.
I know that anybody that is an entrepreneur or bringing a product to market, that is no small feat. There's just a tremendous amount of overhead and work and emotional labor involved, with doing all that. So congratulations on bringing Nia to market. That's a wonderful accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, I have an amazing team. Like, we just such incredible partners and teams, and everyone is so excited and dedicated about what we're doing and how we're approaching AI. And it's so different than what everyone else is doing. And so I have just a really amazing team who we're all very mission focused on bringing a different kind of AI and a different type of product to the market that really helps bring humans together, which is really our ultimate goal.
I really want to get into that. I want to talk a lot more
Yeah,
about Nia today during our conversation
yeah,
because it touches on philosophically all the things we try to bring to light in this show. But I think for people joining us who maybe are not familiar with you or your work, would love to just have a little bit of backstory
of
from
course.
you about maybe what first pulled you into storytelling and system design as a whole, and how that touches on community work.
Yeah. So my whole start, and I mean, I guess in this industry, it's been obviously a windy road, as roads
It always
usually
is,
are,
right?
always is, and all the good stories are pretty windy. But yeah, I started my career in theater. I wanted to be a director and a playwright, but as people who are in theater know, there's no money in directing and playwriting. Maybe ever, but certainly when you're young. And so I started working in advertising. I moved to New York, tried the theater thing for a few years, and then went into advertising. Um, and I was at one of the big firms, and it was an incredible place to learn and grow. But it really wasn't the heart, right? The heart wasn't there. And so I left and I started my own experience design and storytelling agency in 2012. I exited that in 2023. I may have said this before. I say this a lot. Like I was like never going to start another company. I was like, I'm going to go get a job at a company and I'm going to get a paycheck. I'm going to leave at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock every night. And then I met Blair Erickson, who is the incredible technologist behind Mia, and he showed me what he was building, and I kind of fought it for a minute. I was like, I'm just going to help him consult him. But then I joined full time in September as the as CEO, and it's been an incredible journey. And we have an incredible team. We have my third partner, Stephanie, who I've known for many many years. The three of us just really have an incredible vision for what AI can do. So it's always been storytelling and bringing humans together has always been part of what I'm doing. Now I'm just doing it with really sophisticated technology. So it's a little bit different than before. And anyway, even in my last company, we did large experiences for global brands. It was really about how do we bring digital and physical together in a way that makes people connect. So now I'm just doing it kind of a little bit more focused, I will say.
That's wonderful. So again, by way of giving everybody some context,
Yeah.
what is the core problem that Nia is solving, and why now?
Oh, that's a great question. So there's a few things. So everyone is talking about AI, right? There is not a single person who is not talking about AI and what it's going to do and good and bad and all of these things. And the difference in what we're doing is everyone is thinking about AI as a tool, and it's an incredible tool for efficiency, for getting things that you want done very quickly, for getting information. But no one is thinking about it as an experience. Nobody is thinking about it as a way to remove friction so that people can get what they want faster so that they can then connect. What we're doing is we're taking everyone's fragmented systems and data sources and all of that, and we're pulling it all together in a singular conversation that feels human, that feels like it cares. And the experience of what we're doing, the feeling that people get when they talk to Nia and how simple it is and how easy it is, that's sort of a core differentiator. My Stephanie was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, what's your secret sauce? And she was like, shh, it's just imagination, right? Like that's all it is. Is all these other engineers are doing really incredible technology things, but we're doing things that have imagination and that we're creative, that are about experiences because we're all at our heart experience design people and experience, like Stephanie was an ex Disney Imagineer. Her entire life has been about building really unique experiences. And so I think that is something that it's hard to put a pin on it, but I do think that's like one of the biggest things that sets us apart. I think that, and also like the ability to orchestrate all those different data and systems and all of that in a really simple like a simple way. So like we're actually like building the sort of interface of AI that's really pleasurable and exciting to use. That's the other piece of it.
I really love that, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention you had mentioned this book to me the last time that we get together. But this is one of her books, right?
It is one of her books, yes, and she has a new one that came out. Yeah,
and she's got a new one that just came out, like quantum storytelling. Is that what
Quantum Narratives? It launched at South by Southwest. It sold out in the South by Southwest bookstore in 15 minutes. Yeah. It was amazing. Like she did her talk, and then
I'm not an affiliate. This is just I picked up the book. I started reading it. It's delightful. I love the graphical approach to what she did for the build of it. And this is the Dead Tree edition, but I mean, like what she's talking about is really an end to these linear sorts of narratives and what we create.
Yeah, and it's about how we approach storytelling, and storytelling is essential to everything that was what makes humans human, right? It's what we do to express ourselves and express our world. And her approach to it is, how do you bring it into the world in a different way? Yeah, I'm so glad that you picked that up. And her second book is also really amazing. We were at South by, I did my talk. I had a panel, and then she had her book talk, and we went to go to the bookstore to take a picture of the book at the bookstore, and it was all gone. And it was like, so it was pretty amazing. It was a really fun experience. I think she had to go and send some books out afterwards, after the fact. But yeah, it was a great, and it's really fantastic, both of them.
That's so great. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm about halfway through. I've really been enjoying it immensely. Great read. Quick shout outs to Peter Corliss. Peter, great to see you. Huzzah. As well as Todd Jones, a colleague from the Community Consultants Collective. Great to see you both here. If anybody else is around lurking on the chat, please jump in and give a shout and say hello. Glad to have you here. We're with Nasya Kamrat, the CEO and founder of Nia XP. We've been talking a little bit about using AI to reduce friction and increase human connection, which I think is a really amazing topic. On the show, we talk about community building all the time. Community is one of those much maligned words that's used indiscriminately for a lot of different things that it really doesn't represent. I'm kind of wondering about your journey with that word. Like, how has your thinking about community building evolved, maybe even over the process of building Nia? I would love to get your perspective.
Yeah, I believe so. Community is very essential to who I am. Like, to go back a little bit further, like I was born in a commune in upstate New York. So like I was born like hippie parents who, right? And I didn't live there for long, but that's so essential to like how I grew up, of how do we bring people together? How do we have a shared mission? How do we build together? And so everything that I've done, I mean, I think that's probably why I went into theater, right? Theater is all about that community, and you're all doing it together. And then you have this product that you have built together. And so much of my life and my business has been, how do you bring humans together under a shared goal, a shared vision, shared mission? And I think when it comes to what we're doing now, and it has shifted quite a bit. I think actually, I was thinking about this last night. I think you and I first connected because you were talking about third spaces.
Yes.
And this idea that there's these spaces that bring people together. That's not your home. That's not your work. It's a place where people can come and gather and be together. And I think now they've coined the word fourth spaces, which is actually where the like digital and the physical come together. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of the place that I think real community starts, because it follows you throughout your entire day, your entire journey, whether you're online or offline. How do we create that sort of experience that you have a community wherever you go? The challenge that I think we have right now, and really bringing the physical and the digital together, is it's like fragmented and disconnected. And like you have like 17 different things that you're checking all the time. And when you're so busy checking things, you're not actually present. You're not actually connecting. And so I think what I've seen with the work that we're doing now is that fragmentation, that disconnection, when you're able to bring that all together, when you're able to create these sort of frictionless moments where people can get the information they need, they get connected to what they want, they get connected to each other in a really seamless, delightful way, you are actually achieving that fourth space, right? Because you're not having to check Slack and then this and then that community and Discord and all these different things. You're just being present, and that community is following you wherever you go. And I think that's the power of how we're approaching AI is we take all of that stuff, all of that noise, and we just put it together so that you and I, or when I go outside and drop my kids off at school, I'm actually to be able to be present and be there and be part of the community that I've chosen to be part of. Um, it's amazing when people gather, but if they gather and they can't be there for one another, it's all show, right? And so I
Mhm.
think that what we're doing with Nia and our concierge AI, it brings continuity and care to every moment that you're in. And that I think is really powerful. And I don't even know if we quite realize yet just how powerful it is, right? Like in our head, we're like, oh my God, this is the connective tissue that's bringing all these things together. How amazing. And once we start living it, I think is when we're going to really see how unique and how extraordinary it is to, our tagline is intelligence built for human connection. Our ultimate vision is how do we get people what they need faster so they can get off their phones and actually have a conversation. Like if we could do that, if we could achieve that, then we win the game. Like we win the we did good in the world game, right? And that is that really is what motivates us is the more we can do that, the more effective we are and the more effective community is as a whole.
Yeah. I love the powerful framing of that you have. I think some people who are listening or may catch this in the replay are maybe thinking right now, or maybe it's just me, I don't know. But there's a lot of conversation around AI as a dehumanizing force or a disconnecting force. And with some of the startup work that I'm doing with my co-founders, Ilker Consul and Rachel Petzold on Talent Led, what we're building right now is communities of talent that are used to humanize connection, using technology to put people together and have better conversations, and particularly addressing the talent problem, of the world, which is a huge one right now. But as I think about that space and what's happening right now, there's a war of technology that's happening between job seekers and employers, and both are deploying and weaponizing AI in that struggle, because job seekers are using AI to tailor their resumes and their cover letters and send them in mass. And so there's a glut of applications, and employers, by the same token, are using AI to remove recruiting staff and try to do some of the work that recruiters were doing, which I think is a huge mistake, as well as just take out of the picture anyone that they perceive as not passing their screening requirements that they have. So I think there's a very real concern about AI being antithetical to humans, and even I've sensed some discomfort in the world of the community profession, community practice, of saying well, are companies going to start dropping their communities and just have an AI concierge for everything? Does that mean that we don't have places for people to connect? Discussion forums and private community platforms aren't going to be necessary anymore? I'm setting you up because I know you've got a response, as I can see it in your face.
I do. Yeah, and I will say most organizations and most people are just using AI wrong, right? And it's fine because we're early days in the AI world, and people are they're playing, they're testing, they're seeing what limits there are. It's a little bit risky because AI is more powerful than other technologies that we've had in the past. But I do think, and maybe this is optimistic, but I do think that humans want to connect, they want to build community, they want to be with one another. And I think that is how we've gotten so much traction, is how we think differently about it. And 100%, there is going to be companies, there's going to be organizations that are going to, it's going to affect the workforce. People are going to lose their jobs. And that's why it's even more important for what we're doing, because we don't think about AI as a replacement of people. We think about AI as a way, how do we allow people to be more efficient, to be more effective, to, like, if you're at a hotel and you are able to get the hotel manager actually out on the floor and actually connecting with guests and not stuck behind a desk looking through like mountains of data that doesn't make any sense because it's 3 weeks after the fact and it doesn't actually mean anything anymore. So I do think that we are in a moment, and it is a war. And my hope is that there's companies like Nia, there's other companies who are trying to use AI in a way that is about bringing people together. It's about creating systems that allow for more human connection, true human connection, right? There are people who are doing this, and I just think that it's going to take a minute to set the stage, right? Because like, and I will say there is a challenge that we're having right now in the AI world, where these larger companies who are motivated by the things that they're motivated by, there is a real chance that they'll win the game. And it's really important for small, nimble, creative solutions to come and say, hey, it doesn't have to be like this. We don't have to do another sort of like social media moment where everyone's stuck up behind the screen and they're all disconnected. It doesn't have to be that way. So it's a very real concern. It's something that we talk about probably daily at the company, is gut checking that we're not doing that we are, yes, we're building efficiency into our workflows. We're helping people get what they need faster. Certainly there is that a moment where you don't need as many people to be involved in a thing, but our goal is to take that and get them involved in other things that are higher, that only humans can do. And that's really the difference, and really approaching it that way. I think it's a mission, right? It's a critical to how we work and what we're building, and the ability to give back to that community as well. Like, if we're going to be building something that is going to change how people work and how people connect, how do we then bring that back and say, here are other things you can do? I think one of the things that we're doing with our SaaS model is, so I'm actually, maybe take a one step back. So Nia is a concierge AI, sort of one step beyond agentic AI. It's a conversational, voice first AI solution that allows you to connect with what you want, with what you need, and each other more efficiently. Nia XP is an enterprise solution, so we're building Nias for people, and they're sort of custom builds. It's very branded. It's an extension of your team, right? And is how we build those. And how we build those Nias. But when we're thinking about the SaaS solution, we're actually democratizing that, and it will be like anyone could build their own Nia. So like, think about like a WordPress for Nias, right? And you could build your own Nia, and that way we're actually allowing more people to have access to the power of AI. That's about connection. It's about bringing things together. That's allowing them to do their work more efficiently, and with more heart, so that they can do better things in the world.
That's amazing. I'd be remiss if I didn't reflect a couple of things that were showing up in the chat, because just some really good comments here. A quick one that I'd love to hear you say something about is Todd Jones says, I'm assuming there's a story behind the name Nia?
Yeah. So NIA stands for Neural Intelligence Agents. We wanted, yes, we are a company powered by AI, but we don't say that we're an AI company. We're an intelligence company, right? And really, we were, and I could show you the list. There was hundreds of names on our list of things that we could do and all that. But Nia, one, I think certainly there's what it stands for, but also it spans cultures. There's Nias in different culture. You know, it's such a global name that it felt really right for the type of work that we were doing. Um, and we wanted it to be personified. We wanted it to feel, because it should be some extension of your team. It should be something that feels like it's, supporting the work that you're doing. We say a lot that, like, it's not, humans versus AI. It's humans and AI collaborating, and our hope making the world a better place.
That's amazing. I love that. And so just couple of other quick comments here showing up. I'll give you a chance to reflect on some of these. Peter, everybody says, so much artificial intelligence is actually just fully automated human stupidity. I love that.
And 100%, right? Because you are, when people who are building AI, and it's an incredibly powerful tool, and it's really, I don't know, I'm sure everyone is using AI daily within their normal days, and it's really powerful. Like, you can do things very fast. If I didn't have the ability to have AI as part of my workflow, I would be moving a lot slower. But AI is only as good as the people who are creating it.
Yes.
And it's only as good as the people who are using it. So there needs to be a shift in the people who are creating it and how they creating it, and why that they're building. And there also has to be a shift in the mindset of the users. Yes, it will make things go faster. Yes, it will allow you to be more efficient and get things and all the stuff that AI does. But if you're using it solely as a tool, solely as, like, your end goal is just to get the information out faster, you're actually not even tapping into it. So yes, it's fully automated human stupidity until we force it not to be. So
Yes.
yeah, I love that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to acknowledge too, I think, kind of going along with this idea, something that Todd said, AI should make things more efficient, but people are going to use it to replace people. Being hopeful and realistic at the same time is not easy. I wanted to acknowledge that because I think it was something that you had said a little bit earlier. We entered the era of the internet with this sense of optimism that it was going to be this democratizing, empowering place. And then we ended up with these extractive, billionaire driven models of social media that that are intent upon monopolizing our attention, monetizing those eyeballs, and keeping us distracted and stressed out and enraged by the way that they manipulate their algorithms, with AI. And so I wanted to acknowledge, like, it's tough to be optimistic about these things, considering the path that we've been on all this time.
100%. And what I would say is, yes, and it is hard, and it is a daily reminder for us that we can't, like, I have two kids. I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old, right? And I'm not doing what I'm doing because I love AI. That's not what I'm doing, because I have two small children who I've seen what has happened with social media to, like, my nieces and my nephews and all of that. And that is not the world I want my kids to grow up in. And so we are at the precipice of a brand new moment in time, a brand new technology. There are so many things that are possible, and it is imperative that we do it eyes wide open, saying, hey, we made those mistakes, right? Like, we can't make those same mistakes again, because if we do, like, the ramifications of that are way more intense than they were with, like, the social media, right, moment. And so it's actually going to be in the power of the people and the users to say, no, I am not going to go and spend my money over there where these people I know are going to just try to monetize and monopolize and do all those things. I'm going to do it with people who have a similar vision, who want to make sure that our kids and our grandkids yes, AI will be part of our world. I think that has opened, that has started. There is no going. I don't think there's any going back. Even if I wasn't in
Pandora's
this
box,
world,
right? Yes.
that is
Yeah.
open. And so now it's our responsibility to do it with um, care and with ethics in mind, and doing it in a way like we have. I don't know. I was like talking to our. I was talking to them. We actually in our like agreement as founders, we have a whole list of types of organizations we will not work with. Right? It's like it's written in stone. Right? It is written, and this is where we will not go, because we know if we do, we're just going to go down the same path that all those billionaire social media guys have gone in, and so it's not there. That's going to happen. And I think the reason why we were so bullish on getting the SaaS product out and allowing it to bring this sort of power of this technology into the hands of more people is that the more we get people to sort of say, hey, there's a different way, we don't have to do that, we can do something that is going to really be built for bringing humans together. I think there's some hope, and it is optimistic. And maybe I'm too much of an optimist, but I do think that people are generally good. There's generally good humans in the world who want to do good things, and I think we all come together and say, no, this is how we're going to use this incredible technology. I think we have a lot of hope.
Well, I mean, I think, to add to what you're saying, like any future foresight people I talk to will talk about the necessity of being not a Pollyanna optimist, but a clear-eyed optimist. Because if you can't envision a better future, how the heck are you going to get there, right?
100%. And I think that is, and I think it's really interesting because I think this is one of the, it's been a long time since small, uh, nimble companies and developers were able to even have a shot, right? And I think if we go into this next era with a vision towards what we want it to be, and we're the millions of people who are not the top, you know, handful of billionaires who are building this. If we all say no, we want to control this in a different way. If we have to use the power of community to say, no, this can be different. It has to be different. If it's
Yeah.
not different, we're kind of screwing ourselves, right? And so I do think it's actually the power of community that's going to change the trajectory of where AI can go and how it can be utilized. And so I'm hopeful, certainly clear-eyed. I know all the things. There are so many things wrong with this technology right now. And we need more people who are saying, let's go and confront it face on and change it and change how we think about it so that we can then use it in a way that actually is gonna make the world an amazing place for my two kids and everyone's children and like all the things that are gonna happen next. So
Amen. Amen.
yeah.
So I'd like to kind of steer this towards the overarching theme, and we've been
Yeah.
talking about this already, of designing for belonging, designing for connection. And this was a question actually Benjamin brought up. What are some ways that Nia will bring people together? Like, um, could you maybe kind of go back to that, or maybe offer um, some tactical use cases about
Yeah.
how this could all work?
Yeah. So okay, I'm going on vacation with my family, right? I have, again, two small children. If anyone has traveled with two small children, uh, you got a visceral moment of like, oh God, flying with two. Oh yeah, right. We all have those moments, right? What if throughout your entire journey, you had this ability to connect with Nia, and she can make it a more seamless experience? So from actually booking the trip, making sure that I'm getting, making sure everyone's allergies are taken care of, all the things that go into booking a trip or whatever. When we get to the airport, how do we go and get through the lines? Because we already have, hey, where do I go? What am I doing? All those things that like kind of like take you away from being focused of where you are in that moment. you can do much more efficiently. We actually did a thing when we were at the last deployment where we had someone talk to me like, hey, I'm looking for this thing. And then someone else was like going on the app trying to find the same thing. The person who talked to Nia got there in like 10 seconds. The person who was still looking on the app was like, it was like a good like 2 minutes to try to navigate
Wow.
through that. And that's what every app, every technology, every website, it's all about this navigation. And everyone's trying to say that, oh no, we built our website, we built our app with humans in mind. But humans are different, right? The one thing that brings everyone together is that, we can have a conversation in whatever language and whatever way that we need to converse, we can have that conversation. So the ability to go on this trip with my family, get what I need really fast so I can focus on that moment when my kid did a really cute thing and be there for it, not be stuck on my phone being like, how do I get to, okay, we're here, where's the Uber? All those things. If we had that connected journey and Nia could be that support system that sort of helps you through that so that I can get off my phone and be with my family and enjoy my trip, that's the power of what Nia can do. Because it is incredibly simple. You literally push a button and you talk to it, and any information that you need is at your fingertips. Like not your fingertips. It's just being told to you, and then you go do it. And the ability to go and switch between text and voice and email and all those things, like that's all the back end stuff. But it allows you to not have, I don't know how many apps do you have on your phone? I have like, I don't even know how many apps I have on my own, right? Like hundreds upon hundreds of apps. And if you were able to not have all that, if all those apps were connected because you were able to just talk to someone who really wanted to help, that's what Nia can do.
Just a better switchboard operator. That's an old metaphor, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it is. I mean, and think about everyone's systems and data. Like if you talk about companies, like what they're using for their CRM and their POS and all their various systems, what we do is we take all that, we put it all, we orchestrate all of, we know exactly how to switch and we know where it's going and all those things. We're like this incredible conductor. And then the experience from the user, the experience from the guest, the experience from the attendee, it's just a conversation. So all this craziness is happening in the background, all the things that made you try to figure out and find and all take you away and out of the moment, that's all being handled. That's all automated. That's what Nia does best. And then she just delivers that in a really delightful conversation. That's fun to do. So
yeah. I wanted to look at another side of this as well. Peter Corliss, a longtime friend, and I'll call him an agent provocateur, who often has wonderful questions on the show, was asking about, I guess, kind of building for safety. Building to design against abuse, fraud, and and keeping minors safe. Incidentally, I'll just do a quick shout out. I just a week ago had a chance to participate in the All Things in Moderation conference. Clocktower Advisors was a sponsor. Vanessa Paik put on a brilliant conference around protecting the safety. We actually did a panel on protecting the safety of minors. What kinds of considerations are there? How do we build community spaces with safety and protection in mind? I mean, it's a huge issue for our time.
It really is. And I think if we learned anything from social media, that's one of the number one issues of our time, because they failed miserably in that.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the strategic reason why we are B2B, right? We're not going to B2C right now, right? That is a very intentional decision, because businesses, right? We're building for the business use case. We're building for the large enterprise. We're building for the small event planner, right? For our SaaS product, we're building with business in mind, and so we are not doing it to on the consumer level. That was really, I think, where a lot of the challenges have come in the past. That to say, like, even in that, when we're thinking, and I think it's 100%, like we want to believe people are inherently good, but we know for a fact that there are plenty of people who are not inherently good in this world. And so those people, those edge cases, all of that, putting in those guardrails, I think the one thing that we've been really bullish on is how do we create the guardrails around AI, around our particular technology, so that people can't, like Nia hallucinates way less than other AIs because of all of the guardrails that we put around the technology on where she's pulling the data from, where she's delivering the data, how she's delivering the data, the manner of the personality behind how she's delivering the data. Like the technology is trained to do no wrong, right? And it's really hard to break that because it is AI, right? When they're trained to do something, they do it and they do it well. And so part of what we're doing is really building that fence around it. And it's always changing because new challenges come up, new concerns come up, new things come up, things that we didn't think about come up. And so it's not a one and done. It's how do we constantly building something that is able to evolve with the times, able to protect the people most at risk, and putting it in the hands of people who are doing it for like business cases. I think is our at least our first like let's get this right, and then we can go on and go further. So, but it's a data problem, and if we didn't talk about it all the time, um, you know, I mean, we are concerned as leaders in our organization, as people who are at the forefront of where AI is going. It is part of our daily conversations. How are we doing it with the most ethical, most sort of eyes wide open build that we can, and are always, and also AI is moving very fast. So the minute you figure something out, everything changes again, and so you're constantly having to evolve with it. And you just have to do that every day. Is a new day. We're like, okay, this is our mission. This is the goal. This is how we're going to build it, and stay true to that. But it's not easy. It's super hard. So I hope I'm not minimizing it. It's really hard to do, and it's really challenging. And I think that there's a lot of people who are in the space who are not as diligent about it, and don't have the same vision of where they want to go. But also, I mentioned the imagination, right? Like the ability to think about things differently. And hey, this is a problem. How do we we're a bunch of creatives creating AI, right? Like we're thinking about it differently than an engineering team would, which is why we've been able to move so fast, and why I'm hopeful that we're able to continue toward our ultimate vision of where we think this technology can go.
I'm certainly hopeful for its applications for online communities as well, for ways to put people together, to make more meaningful connections, to give them more time to have deeper, more qualitative conversations, with each other. I see that as a way forward, at least when I'm putting on my hopeful hat of where we could be. Yeah. So we're winding up the show here. I can't believe the time has flown by with us so quickly, but I wanted to do a couple of lightning round questions. Are you up for that?
Yeah, I'm good. All right. I'm prepared.
Look at someone's face when I see lightning round. They go like, "Oh crap! What is this?"
I got it. Face on. We're
These
good.
could be softball, so hopefully.
I like it. Go for it.
So, what is one trend in community or technology that you are hopeful about at the moment?
I am very hopeful about the ability to streamline community and technology, right? I think one thing right now is everything is so fragmented, and there's so many different things that we're trying to access all the time. And I am really hopeful that there'll be a day when I don't have 100 apps on my phone, and I don't have to remember 16 different numbers to make sure I know what my loyalty number is, all those things. I'm hoping that will all be streamlined, so I don't have to think as much about the silly stuff, and I can focus on the things that matter.
Okay, got it. All right, next question. What's one term that bugs you that you wish we could leave behind? It could be a term or an idea or a concept or.
There's so many. Like, I try to think of, like, the one that bugs me the most. I feel like okay, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna qualify. Okay, I think the word community actually is being overused.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
this is a weird forum to say that in, so I'm gonna acknowledge that, but
It's not at all. No, I agree
I
with you.
don't think people just because you have a loyalty program doesn't mean you have a community, right? I feel like people are using it in a way that is not the intent, and that's why community is getting watered down. And if you think about what community is supposed to be, it's like the places where you belong. Um, I don't think brands are honoring that, and that annoys me.
I like the way you put that. Not honoring it. They should be. They could be.
They
But
could
there
be. They're
wasn't
just
one.
not.
Yeah.
Well, their motivations are different, right? They're not motivated to honor it in the way that you or me or it's not about belonging. And I think that if we can refocus that about how do you create spaces and places where people can come and belong, the third spaces, the fourth spaces, right? How do we make those places where we can really bring people together so they feel connected and honored? I think
Yeah.
that'd be great. Yeah. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Two more lightning questions. One,
Yeah.
fast answers. Favorite place you've seen community thrive, or maybe strangest place you've seen a community thrive?
Okay, so I come from the like experiential experience design world. So the places that I feel the most sticky to me are those like those like um, places where these activations, these brand activations, where you get these like really, really intense people who love the thing, right? And they're coming to that one thing, and so that they were, it's like the online community that became IRL, and they're all these rabid fans, right? Um, there's a lot of those, and I think those are the ones that are the most fun to a be part of, but also like be an observer of, because like the excitement of like something that's been digital and bringing it into the physical, like that really gets me excited.
It's electric. It's electric.
It,
Yeah, Todd Jones cites one of his dirt tracks every Friday and Saturday night all across the
what is
country.
a dirt track? I don't even know what that is.
I think it's racing.
Okay.
I'm sure Todd will tell us here in a minute. um, last question.
Okay.
What's bringing you energy right now?
What's bringing me energy right now is the speed at which technology is moving, and my sort of singular focus, and making sure that we do it with the right intention and the right hope and the right vision. And so I'm a very competitive person, just to like pull that out there. So there is a moment here where I'm like, no, those tech bro billionaires aren't going to win this race. We're going to win this race because we're going to do it better, and we're going to do it with people in mind. And so that thing that's sort of motivating me right now is that. And then also I have two kids, and every day it's like a new thing. Like my 2.5-year-old, like every day I'm just like, oh my God, it's the first time she discovered X, and like seeing that and seeing how delightful that is actually making the work that we're doing even better, because I'm sort of constantly being amazed by the discovery that they're seeing every day. So I get two things. I did two things. Sorry, I didn't follow the rules.
That's great. No, the rules are optional. It's all about the great conversation. And this has been a really wonderful conversation, Nasya. Thank you so much for bringing yourself to this meeting, and I hope you had a fun time on the on the podcast.
I don't know how this much time went by this quickly. I was like, I was like, oh my God, an hour is a long time for a conversation. But it felt like it's been like 10 minutes. So thank you for having me. Thank you for it being such an easy conversation to have, and fun conversation to have. So
they always fly by. They always do. And I'm so appreciative of you. We'll be following your work, and definitely come back to the show and tell us about the latest stuff that you're working on, or how Nia is going in the market. We'd love to hear more about that. And thank you everybody who tuned in and stuck with us through the live stream today. Benjamin, Todd, Pete, Adrian, like, so good to see all of you. And I, as well as who was the newcomer? Ricky, great to see you as well. um, please come back to other shows. I'll do the usual end of the show thing and say, please follow us on LinkedIn at the Clocktower Advisors company page, where you'll get updates of all the upcoming shows that we have, and including, we're not going to do a live stream in 2 weeks, but on June 13th, we're going to be dropping another interview episode. This time we're going to be having back on the show Lais de Olivieri, who some of you may have remembered from a year or so ago, who came on. She wrote the book Hacking Communities, which is a really wonderful read. Love her take on that. She has been updating me about life as a mom, living in the New Jersey area, and sort of some of the local communities that she's been involved with and building, and how that's given her additional perspective about where she is. It's going to be a great episode, so please drop by to check that out whenever it comes by. And again, please follow us as well if you are so inclined. Subscribe to us on the Clocktower Advisors YouTube channel. Like, comment, blah blah blah. Love to have all of those interactions. In the meantime, please continue to take care of yourselves. Take time for yourself. Take time away from the screen. Get out into nature. Breathe in the fresh air. And we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks for another show. Until then, Nasya, thanks again for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Kalisa, let's roll the credits.